നിരവധിയായ കർഷക സമരങ്ങളിലൂടെ ചോര വീണ ചുവന്ന മണ്ണാണ് തെലങ്കാന. ഖമ്മത്തും വാറങ്കലിലും സൂര്യാപേട്ടയിലുമൊക്കെ നടന്ന ഐതിഹാസികമായ സമരങ്ങളിൽ പങ്കെടുത്ത് ആയിരങ്ങളാണ് രക്തസാക്ഷികളായത്. ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് സാമ്രാജ്യത്വത്തിനും ജന്മിനാടുവാഴ്ത്തത്തിനും എതിരായ പോരാട്ടങ്ങൾക്കൊപ്പം നൈസാം ഭരണകൂടത്തിനെതിരായ ജനമുന്നേറ്റത്തിനും ഈ നാട് സാക്ഷ്യം വഹിച്ചു. കൃഷിഭൂമി കൃഷിക്കാരന് എന്ന മുദ്രാവാക്യമുയർത്തി നടന്ന സമരങ്ങളിൽ പതിനായിരങ്ങൾ അണിനിരന്നു. തെലങ്കാനയിലെ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടിക്കും തൊഴിലാളി സംഘടനകൾക്കും പതിറ്റാണ്ടുകളുടെ ചരിത്രമുണ്ട്. സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യ സമരം ശക്തിയാർജിച്ച സമയത്ത് തന്നെ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് ആശയങ്ങളിൽ ആകൃഷ്ടരായിരുന്നു തെലങ്കാന യുവത. കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പ്രസ്ഥാനം കരുത്താർജിച്ചതോടെ തെലങ്കാനയിലെ കർഷക തൊഴിലാളികളും മറ്റ് അസംഘടിത മേഖലയിലെ തൊഴിലാളികളുമെല്ലാം ചെങ്കോടിക്ക് കീഴിൽ അണിനിരന്നു. പിന്നീട് 40കളിലും 50കളിലുമൊക്കെ അവകാശങ്ങൾക്കായുള്ള വൻ പോരാട്ടങ്ങൾക്കാണ് തെലങ്കാന സാക്ഷ്യം വഹിച്ചത്. ഖമ്മം, വിജയവാഡ, വാറങ്കൽ ഉൾപ്പെടെയുള്ള തെലങ്കാന മേഖലയിൽ CPIMന് ഇന്നും വലിയ സ്വാധീനമുണ്ട്. കർഷക തൊഴിലാളി യൂണിയൻ സംസ്ഥാന സമ്മേളനത്തിന്റെ പൊതുസമ്മേളനം ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യാൻ CPIM പോളിറ്റ് ബ്യൂറോ അംഗവും കേരള മുഖ്യമന്ത്രിയുമായ പിണറായി വിജയൻ ഖമ്മത്തെത്തി. ആവേശകരമായ വരവേൽപ്പാണ് പിണറായിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചത്. തെലങ്കാന സംസ്ഥാന സെക്രട്ടറി തമ്മിനേനി വീരഭദ്രം, കർഷക തൊഴിലാളി യൂണിയൻ ജനറൽ സെക്രട്ടറി B. വെങ്കട്ട് എന്നിവരുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിലായിരുന്നു പിണറായിയെ വരവേറ്റത്. പതിനായിരങ്ങൾ അണിനിരുന്ന റാലി CPIMന്റെ ശക്തി പ്രകടനമായി മാറി. തെലങ്കാനയുടെ പരമ്പരാഗത കലാരൂപങ്ങളുടെ അകമ്പടിയോടെയായിരുന്നു മഹാറാലി. വേദിയിലേക്ക് പിണറായി എത്തിയതോടെ മൈതാനത്ത് തിങ്ങി നിറഞ്ഞ ജനസാഗരം ആവേശത്തിലായി. പൊതുസമ്മേളനം ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്ത പിണറായി വിജയൻ കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ജനവിരുദ്ധ നയങ്ങൾക്കെതിരെ രൂക്ഷ വിമർശനം ഉന്നയിച്ചു. മോദി സർക്കാർ രാജ്യത്തെ ഫെഡറൽ സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ തകർക്കുകയാണ്. സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളുടെ അവകാശങ്ങളിൽ കേന്ദ്രം കൈകടത്തുന്നു. BJP ഇതര സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാരുകളുടെ അധികാരങ്ങളിൽ ഗവർണർമാർ അനധികൃതമായി ഇടപെടുന്നു. കോർപ്പറേറ്റുകൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാണ് കേന്ദ്ര ഭരണമെന്നും പിണറായി വിമർശിച്ചു.
തെലങ്കാന has a rich tradition of struggles, especially those led by peasants and agricultural workers. As I stand here, I am reminded of them. It is the heroic struggle of the peasants of Telangana in the late 1940s which placed the issue of land reforms on the agenda of the country. In Khammam district itself, we saw valiant struggles for land as recent as 15 years back at Mudigonda. I salute the memory of all those who have lost their lives in such historic struggles. It is with the spirit of those struggles that powerful movements of the people should be conducted for building a new India. Why do we need a new India? We need a new India because in this very year that we celebrate the 75th anniversary of India's independence, the history of our glorious anti-colonial struggle, which spans centuries, is sought to be altered. The values on which our independence movement was built upon are being neglected. Those who fought for secularism and democracy are being sidelined, while the communal forces, henchmen who murdered them, are being glorified. It is the communal frenzy that fires bullets at the portrait of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, and shouts slogans for Godse and Savarkar. Even those who are wielding power at the highest levels in our country today are being guided by that same communal frenzy. We need a new India where we reclaim the idea of unity in diversity, where the rights of our workers are protected, where our farmers and agricultural workers have an assured income that is at least 50% more than the total cost of production. India is a land of various cultures, languages, beliefs, and people. They all came together as one nation during our freedom struggle. There was no space for differences in the name of religion, caste, creed, or region in our anti-colonial struggle. We were all one. We should all be one. However, today, our sense of nationalism is sought to be defined by the Hindutva forces. They are trying to dictate who are national and who are anti-national. It needs to be noted that those who tried to issue certificates of patriotism were not part of our national movement even by accident. Their only role was that of writing apologies and agreeing to serve the British Empire as faithful subjects of the crown. It was the RSS ideologue Golwalkar who exhorted Hindu youngsters to not waste their energy fighting the British. The two-nation theory was espoused by V.D. Savarkar 10 years prior to Muhammad Ali Jinnah proposing it. What we are seeing now is the pitiable attempt of those behind all sorts of vociferous tendencies to portray themselves as the apostles of patriotism and nationalism. The reality is that today a majority of the Indian people, be it Dalits or Adivasis or minorities or women, are constantly being attacked and their freedoms are being curtailed so as to break our unity as working class. Unity in diversity is the most cherished of our ideals. However, the union government's interferences are thwarting it. Efforts to impose Hindi is a part of such interference. No one would be opposed to Hindi. At the same time, we need to realize that trying to impose Hindi by doing away with our mother tongues will affect the integrity of the nation. When our unity is sought to be destroyed, all those who resist such attempts and ask questions to the powers that be are being branded as anti-nationals. The arrests of those who fight for the people are attempts to silence the voices of dissent. At the same time, leaders and sympathizers of the Sangh Parivar and its affiliates are allowed to go scot-free despite repeatedly stirring up trouble. RSS and the BJP government led by it is paving the way for an authoritarian and communal rule of our country. The union government is taking steps that destroy the country's federal structure. We need to recognize that one nation, one uniform is an affront on the state's powers which are entrusted with the duty of ensuring law and order. Repeatedly, laws are being enacted by the Parliament on subjects in the state list in the Constitution, be it law and order, agriculture, cooperation, power, or so on. Bills that infringe upon the rights of the states are being enacted into laws even without seeking the opinion of state governments. Even while entering into international agreements that affect the states, the union government does not inform state governments, let alone seek their consent. Widespread efforts are on to take control of the higher education sector through the governors in their capacity as chancellors. The office of governor is being politically misused to withhold assent to legislations that have been enacted by the state legislature. Not just in Kerala, in all non-BJP run states, such efforts are being made. Such affronts on the supremacy of state legislatures weaken not just our federal structure, but even our democracy too. Neoliberal policies are being implemented ruthlessly behind the smoke screen created by communal and authoritarian interventions. As a result, corporates are becoming richer and the people are becoming poorer. Inequality has gone up astronomically. Unemployment is at a record high. The achievements of our nation are sought to be under. Public sector enterprises, which are the wealth of the nation, are being sold off. In the last budget alone, rupees 65,000 crore was sought to be raised through their sale. The government, which says that they do not have money to provide relief to the ordinary people, have written off loans of corporates to the tune of rupees 11 lakh crores. We need to remember that this amount would have sufficed to ensure food security in the nation. It needs to be noted that it was under pressure from the left. A scheme for rural employment, the MGNREGS, was prepared during UPA 1. As you know, the left was supporting it on the basis of a common minimum program. It was envisaged as a scheme that would aid the rural population, especially our agricultural workers in their distress. But allocation for the same and work days under it are repeatedly being cut down. When the NDA government came to power in 2014, 4,21,000 posts were lying vacant in the central services. Now it has gone up to 10 lakh. Despite that, over the last 8 years, only 0.33% of the applicants have got posting. 3,03,000 vacancies are left unfilled in Indian Railways. In the armed forces, 1,25,000 posts, and in the defense services, 2 lakh civil posts are lying vacant. Yet the Agnibus scheme with temporary appointments is being implemented. This is in a country in which 42% of the youth between ages 20 and 24 are unemployed.
കേരള സർക്കാർ നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്ന ഇടതുപക്ഷ ബദൽ നയങ്ങളും പിണറായി വിശദീകരിച്ചു. കേന്ദ്രത്തിൻ്റെ നവലിബറൽ നയങ്ങളെ ചെറുക്കാൻ കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ വികസന നയങ്ങൾ മാതൃകയാക്കണമെന്നും അദ്ദേഹം ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടു.
Issues such as class exploitation, wage inequality, and working conditions were taken up by the party. This created a situation in which exploitation is far lesser in Kerala as compared to other places in the country. And once the Communist Party came to power in Kerala in 1957, specific interventions were made to alter the feudal land relations and improve the living conditions of the people. Ever since, progressive governments in Kerala have sought to implement welfare measures, ensure literacy, improve public education, provide quality public health services, enable decentralization by strengthening local self-governments and so on. I am not going into the details as I am sure you are aware of it. In 2016, the LDF came to power once again in Kerala when neoliberal policies were spiking up inequalities across the country. Our focus was on protecting the public sector, on strengthening social welfare, on improving the public health and public education systems, and on developing infrastructure so as to benefit all sectors including agriculture and industry. Over the last 6.5 years, we are seeing that the people's alternative pursued by the LDF government in Kerala is bearing fruit. Kerala is the first in the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals as per the United Nations and the Niti Aayog. We have been repeatedly adjudged as the best governed and least corrupt state by the Public Affairs Index. As per the National Crime Records Bureau, we are the only state in the country with no communal incidents during this period. We have the best school education, the best public health facilities, the best law and order, the least infant and maternal mortalities, and so on. We are the best tourist destination, we have the best startup ecosystem, and we are differently abled friendly. We are taking over central PSUs in the state, being sold by the union, and making them profitable. Among all the public service commissions in the country, Kerala's PSC has issued the most advice memos, around 2 lakhs, and the government of Kerala has created the most posts, around 30,000 in this period. We have revised wages in almost all sectors. According to the most recent RBI report, Kerala's daily wages are the highest in the country. At rupees 1,600 per beneficiary, our welfare pension rates are the highest in the country and it benefits more than 55 lakh people. We have provided housing to more than 3 lakh families over the last 6.5 years. Despite the limits imposed by the union, projects worth more than rupees 75,000 crore have been taken up through the Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board, KIFBI. All these are ample proof of how the alternative championed by the LDF is ensuring development and welfare alongside resisting both communalism and neoliberalism. Kerala is achieving all this despite the severe neglect faced by the state. Even when it comes to disbursing our constitutional share in the country's resources and with regard to our borrowings, the union government is having dual standards. I had already mentioned how even the office of governor is being politically misused against state governments that are opposed to the BJP-RSS campaign. All these are clear violations of the federal principles enshrined in our constitution. It is not just the BJP that is curtailing the state's rights. In fact, it was the Congress that initiated this tendency of the union government meddling into the state's affairs. The CPIM has that glorious tradition of conducting struggles to safeguard our country and its people. The historic struggles of Telangana, Punnapravalar and Tebaga are all in our minds. If you look at the recent past in Tamil Nadu, we have fought to ensure that Dalits have the right to use public roads. In Karnataka, we have fought against the inhuman practice of Madesana, which forced Dalits to roll over food waste. In UP's Muzaffarnagar, it was the left parties that built homes for the victims of communal riots. In Odisha's Kanhamal, it was the CPIM that opened up its party offices for the Christians who lost their places of worship in the communal riots. I had already stated that in Kerala, which is governed by the LDF, there has not been even a single instance of communal violence over the last six and a half years.
വിപ്ലവഭൂമിയായ തെലങ്കാന അക്ഷരാർത്ഥത്തിൽ ചെങ്കടലായി. പിണറായിയുടെ ഓരോ വാക്കുകളെയും നിറഞ്ഞ കയ്യോടെയാണ് ജനം സ്വീകരിച്ചത്. ഖമ്മം ഉൾപ്പെടെയുള്ള 5 ജില്ലകളിലെ പ്രവർത്തകരാണ് റാലിയിൽ അണിനിരന്നത്. പൊതുസമ്മേളനത്തിന് മുന്നോടിയായി തെലങ്കാനയിലെ കലാകാരന്മാരുടെ കലാപ്രകടനങ്ങളും അരങ്ങിലെത്തി.
వ్యవసాయ కూలీల మహాసభలు జరగబోతా ఉన్నాయి. కొద్దిసేపట్లో మహాప్రదర్శన మన ఈ ప్రాంగణానికి, బహిరంగ సభ ప్రాంగణానికి విచ్చేస్తా ఉన్నది.